So the investigation of President Yoon's martial law order is now in the hands of prosecutors. Will things speed up for the better? We are joined by Professor Song Se-ryun this morning. Good to have you back with us, Professor Song.
Good morning.
So as our Choi Min-jung reported, the transfer of the case to the prosecution came earlier than expected. Does it mean the investigators have given up on Yoon?
Well, the CIO does not have the prosecutorial power, so it was not the matter of if. It's a question of when the case was referred. I think yes, the referring happened earlier than expected. Probably reflects the fact that the CIO was not really successful in questioning Yoon. They had only one occasion to question him, but Yoon was not really cooperative. They took the issue of the investigative jurisdiction of the CIO. So I think that this move is a strategic one for CIO because of their failure to advance the case too much. I think that the prosecutor's office have probably a better chance of questioning President Yoon because they have the power to conduct a follow-up investigation and related incidents investigation.
That is probably why the investigators decided to hand over the case to the prosecutors. Now, that the case is now under the prosecution, that what role can the CIO play in the investigation following the transfer? I mean, to what extent can they take part?
Well, once the case is referred to the prosecution for the prosecution, the CIO's role is limited, but not the end of it, probably, because the prosecutor's office could see that there is a gap in the investigation and bring back the CIO for further investigation. Of course, they can conduct it by themselves, but in terms of the investigation, CIO still can claim the investigative jurisdiction. But CIO can help in other ways because they can continue the investigation of other individuals, other incidents, so that the case will be built more stronger way for the prosecutor's effort to prosecute the case.
Well, I'm sure the prosecutors are putting their heads together to make sure that the investigation under them goes as successfully as possible. Now, the question is, how do you think the prosecution will approach questioning Yoon? I mean, what's the best option for the prosecutors?
Well, that is a good question. Remember, President Yoon used to be the prosecutor general, so they're investigating and prosecuting the boss.
Right.
There are two ways. I think that they can. The prosecutor's office could a little bit bend over backwards to show that they are capable of prosecuting this case, even with the history of the President Yoon before. I think that they can go for the prosecution of other individuals, build up the case, and help making the prosecution of Yoon more a stronger one. But I think that the interest is to see what kind of approach that the prosecutor's office has, and we'll probably know after the first meeting, first questioning of prosecutors, see if that goes any effectively than the CIO.
Then having the investigation passed to the prosecution, is this something that Yoon and his legal team pursued, do you think? I mean, is Yoon better off now that the prosecutors are carrying out the investigation, or not really? What do you think?
Well, the case was supposed to be referred to the prosecutor's office anyway, so I don't think it was they didn't have any clear preferences at this point. But regardless, I think the defense team, the President Yoon side, the strategy is to focus on the impeachment trial. Probably if they can get the presidency back to him, that will be a better occasion to to deal with the insurrection case from the stance of a stronger situation. So I think that the fact that the president is attending all the sessions with the Constitutional Court probably shows that by making a successful political argument about getting the presidency back probably will be better for the insurrection trial anyway. So I think the defense team, as we have seen, has thrown all the wrenches in the works to delay the proceedings, so probably that reflects their strategy.
Well, the prosecutors might have a higher chance of conducting the investigation because the CIO's investigation was not so fruitful. Then how much, to what extent do you think Yoon's side will actually cooperate with the prosecution? To what extent?
Well, we just talked about the strategy. I think that the CIO's jurisdiction that they had questioned, probably that's not there anymore. So I think the chances are that they are more cooperative with the prosecutor's office. But I think it all depends on their strategies. The defense team are allowed to make any plausible arguments for the defense, and their focus is to keep the president out of jail, out of a situation where he loses his presidency. So that's why we've seen a lot of delays, because delays are beneficial in many ways for insurrection trial, because they want to focus on the Constitutional Court side of it. In the Constitutional Court side of it, if the case is delayed until April, we have another difficulties of losing a couple of justices in the Constitutional Court. So I think that at this point, the focus from the President Yoon side is not to get to the truth, but the whole focus is on defense of the charges that he has, Constitutional Court and the insurrection charges. So if the delay is beneficial to that end, probably we'll see more of that.
Professor Song, thank you so much for joining with us this morning. We appreciate your time and your insight.
My pleasure. Thank you.